Taurus, what is up, y'all? How you doing? It's time for another weekly check-in. Let's see what's happening for you guys for the last week of June. Here we already are, man. Last week of June. Crazy. Flying by so fast, man. All right. So, for those of you in need of a personal reading, you can find all the information you need on how to go about doing that right down here in the description of this video. All right? Okie dokie. Let's hop into this. Let's just look at your situation. What's happening with Taurus's situation in the last week of June? And I want to focus this mainly on the person you're dealing with, if I can. I will be pulling a spread for their energy and their intentions anyways, but I want to see how much of their energy I can look at in this first spread too. So, ooh, the Nine of Wands in the reverse. Hang on a second. And the Hermit. I think this person's waiting on you to let your guard down. I think so. Seven of Pentacles. Ooh, Nine of Swords. Yeah. They're waiting on you to let your guard down, for sure. Now, for those of you who dealt with somebody who had some sort of addiction issue, I know that's not all of you, but if you did, and you're wondering, no, they have not gotten clean. Matter of fact, I would probably even go as far as to say that this person hasn't changed at all. If you're wondering. For those of you wondering whether or not this person has changed, or whether they've had a wake-up call, or they've grown up, or anything like that, I don't think this person's changed at all. Just to let you know. But, I mean, they're waiting on you to let your guard down because they're still very defensive. Very defensive. Because with this Five of Wands energy right here, they're going to need you to let your guard down. Because if you don't, this ain't going to work. Well, I mean, with this Hermit here, with the Hermit and the Five of Cups in the reverse, kind of looks like silent tension. Looks like silent tension. Now, I almost want to say that I do think that this person does obsessively stalk you, but I don't have the stalker card. I do have the Devil. Oh, there it is. As soon as I said it. As soon as I said it, it came out. That happens all the time, dude. I love it when that happens. 9 times out of 10, I speak it, and then I reach for the card, and it comes right out. Yeah, I think this person does obsessively stalk you. You know, waiting on you to let your guard down. Now, that is one message that always drives me nuts when it comes through. Waiting on you to let your guard down, because how are they going to know when or if you let your guard down? Make that make sense. How are they going to know? What in their mind are they looking for exactly? That's going to make them say, ooh, all right, Taurus let their guard down. Now I can come on in there and see if I can play around. I don't know. Let me see what their deepest feelings are. What's this person's deepest feelings for you? Their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions. Seven of Pentacles reversed. That came out in the last spread, too. Hang on. Queen of Swords reversed. Well, they know, well, in their mind, they know that you're mad at them. They're very certain that you're mad at them. So they're kind kind of starting to lean into the idea that this may just all be one big waste of time. Yeah. They're kind of starting to think that they may have no choice but to move on from this. Have no choice. But it's not really saying anything about their feelings. That's what drives me nuts. Because when I look at somebody's feelings and intentions, and it comes out that, you know, you take up a lot of space in their head, right? They think about you all the time, and they're stalking you and whatnot, but no cups come out. Nothing indicating true love comes out. So how do you describe that? What would that be? What would that be? There's no love there, not true love. But they still be stalking you and watching everything that you're doing, waiting for you to let your guard down. What is that if it's not love? Maybe this person was very possessive, possibly. I don't know, dude. I don't know, but you know what? I don't even think they know exactly what their feelings and intentions are. You know? I don't think they've really thought it all the way through. So like, let's take a trip to magical fairy tale land for a minute. Let's say that you were to show up in their inbox on some, oh, I love you, I miss you, I want to be with you, I want to work on us, I want to do this right, I want to do that right, whoop, 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 whoop. Then what? Then what? What comes after that? I don't think they're thinking that far into the game. You know what I'm saying? I still struggle with explaining that energetic conundrum when it comes through. And that comes through a lot, y'all. That comes through a lot. Very common message to come through. All right, well, let's just grab some advice here for this. What's the advice? Advice for Taurus. Advice for Taurus. Ooh, Ace of Pentacles reversed. No new start. Why is that? Why is no new start the advice? Ooh, the Devil reversed, because you don't need that toxicity in your life. Now, maybe a conversation would be beneficial between the two of you. But again, no new start. Yeah. Hold back, resist temptation. If you do communicate with this person, I don't want to necessarily say get closure. I mean, that is important, but that's not the number one priority here. The number one priority here is getting both of you on the same page at the same time, working towards the same goal, basically. In order for a reconciliation to be successful, both people involved have to bring a new energy back to the connection. Both people involved. Not just one, not just the other. Not just the person who did wrong, not just the person who was the primary catalyst for the majority of the problems. So y'all would have to be able to come together and see eye to eye and hear each other out. And like I said, I just don't think this person has changed. I don't think they've changed. I'm not even convinced that they see an issue with their own actions. So, if you want to communicate with this person, you're probably going to have to be the one that initiates communication. But But be sure that you keep this person at an arm's distance and set some rock solid boundaries. Set some solid ass boundaries, dude. And hey, maybe best case scenario. Let's talk about the best case scenario. Y'all hear me talk a lot about the worst case scenario. You know, setting boundaries, and a person who doesn't respect you is going to push and poke and test your boundaries. Okay, well, let's talk about the best case scenario. Maybe once they see that you're setting some boundaries, they'll be like, oh shit, damn, Taurus ain't playing. Taurus ain't fucking around. Well, if I am given a second chance at this situation, you know, maybe I got to just quit fucking playing games and try something different. Because my way ain't working. There comes a point in everybody's life. Now, here the crazy part is, what point in your life is that? That's what's different for everybody. And some people it's sooner, some people it's later. Thankfully for me, it was when I was much younger. I hit this point in my life when I was in my late 20s. You know, I've seen people, they don't hit this until they're in their late 40s. Matter of fact, I had a client on a Zoom call about a month ago dealing with a situation like this, dealing with somebody in their 40s who's getting to a point where it's like, fuck, this little game I'm playing isn't working for me anymore. I'm getting too old for this. I'm just going to spin in circles and go abso-fucking-lutely nowhere. You know? So hopefully, maybe, I don't know how old the person is you're dealing with. I don't know if they're 28, 38, or 48, or 58. I get clients with all age ranges from 18 to 68, you know? Doesn't matter. At some point, hopefully, maybe they realize, damn, I'm given a second chance here, and I don't want to fuck this up. And so you set them boundaries, and maybe they'll respect it. Maybe they will. And then once you notice that they're respecting your boundaries, then you let that guard down slowly. And then now the next test is, if you give them an inch, will they take a mile? That's the next test. That's the boundaries is just the start. And if they pass the first test and they respect your boundaries, let your guard down an inch. And if you give them an inch, see if they try to take a mile. Okay? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start there, okay? Or you can just not fuck with it at all. If you would rather not go through all that, hey, I totally feel you. I wouldn't either if I was you. But if you want to increase the chances of trying to get this on a positive track, that's the way I would handle it. All right. Shifting gears now. Let's see if there's anything new coming in for the singles. Anything new coming in for the singles? Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Oh! There's something new due to come in for you. That's for damn show. Oh! Yo, look at that. Ace of Cups, Lovers. Oh, but then the Two of Swords. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing a new person due to come into your life. But here's the thing. You may be wondering whether or not this is too good to be true. King of Cups, Queen of Cups, Two of Swords. That screams, is this too good to be true? Is this too good to be true? I don't want to jump in head first, willy-nilly, get my fucking heart ripped out again. Maybe I'm being tested. Maybe this is a test. Maybe it's a prank. Is Ashton Kutcher going to jump out the bushes and punk me? What's going on here, you know? But man, I'll tell you what, a whole lot of you got a pretty big soul contract due to come in. Empress, Lovers, Ace of Cups. Well, okay, cool. Probably the best one I've seen so far. What, let's see. Let's get a little bit more of a read on this person's energy. Let's dig up their energy a little bit more and see what we can find out about this. What's their energy, their feelings, their intentions, all that good stuff. Ace of Coins. Two more. Knight of Swords. Okay. Justice. All right. Hey, Fool reversed. So they're kind of mirroring you a little bit as far as that goes. Okay, well, all right, so King of Cups. They do have genuine feelings for you, and I think they have genuine intentions. But here's the thing. I think what it is that you're picking up on is that at the time the two of you come together and connect, finding a relationship and settling down with a life partner is not on their number one list of priorities. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, they may, up until the point they connect with you, be at a place where they're not even looking to settle down. They may even say, I ain't trying to settle down right now. Until they meet you. Boom. And then they find themselves in this conundrum, you know, where they're like, fuck, man. I just made the decision to stop dating, take a break, focus on me. Now here's this connection that just feels so amazing. It's unlike anything I've ever felt before. But then the ego comes in. Yeah, no, remember the last time you said that? Last time you said, I never felt nothing like this before. It was a trap. So back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But their intentions are solid. They're not playing games with you. They're not lying to you. They're not trying to manipulate you. They're not trying to use you, lead you on, string you along, blow smoke up your ass, none of that shit. I'm not seeing none of that. It looks pretty solid. It does look solid. Let's grab the advice on this situation then. What's the advice? What's the advice for Taurus? When the next person comes in, what's the advice? Oh shit, Lover's card, dude. Lover's card, okay. All right, let me see if I can give you a couple of little pointers. See, if you go to YouTube and type in the search bar, how will I know when I've found the one? Oh my God, tens of thousands of videos will pop up. Tens of thousands of different people giving you different pieces of advice and information. To the point to where it's like, God damn, who do I listen to? I've done all that. I've done all that. I've tried this, thought about that, been there, done that. So let's not look at it from that perspective. How about that? Let's not try to figure out who your person is. Maybe it would serve you better if you learn how to identify who your person is not. Wouldn't that work out quicker? Think about it from the perspective of Who's not my person? Is the universe a dumbass? Imagine the source of all creation. When I say that, I mean the same energy that makes your hair grow, that beats your heart, that makes the tree grow. You know, that same energy that turns a seed into a tree. You ever thought about how the fuck that works? Where next time you see a piece of wood, this thing, where'd it come from? Where'd it come from? Where does wood come from? It emerges out of nowhere. It emerges out of nowhere. Where did you come from? I don't know about you, but about 36 and a half years ago, I was about yay big. Now, how did I go from being this big to 6'1", 220 pounds? Where'd the rest of me come from? It emerged out of nowhere. That energy creates everything. So that energy that makes my hair grow, that makes the tree grow, that makes wood emerge out of nowhere, that makes my heart beat, that teaches the bird how to build that nest, the same energy that tells the spider how to shit a sticky string out of its ass and build a trap to catch its own food. When that energy picked my divine life partner, what are some things that I should not have to experience? When I meet the person that the universe picked for me, am I going to be confused about whether or not I can trust that person? Will I be confused about how they feel about me? I don't think so. I don't think that when I meet the one person that the universe picked for me, that I'm going to be confused about how they feel about me. Think about little things that should not be present. Should not be present when you meet your actual person. I don't even subscribe to the idea that when you meet your person, you're going to know that they're the one right away. I don't subscribe to that at all. Some people do, okay. I mean, I've seen way too much evidence to the contrary. I'm not saying that it never happens. I'm sure, some of you may have met a couple that's divine life partners and they knew immediately that they were the one, okay. But I've seen a lot of evidence to the contrary too. Matter of fact, all of the divine life partners I've met, they didn't know right away that they were the one. They didn't know. For many, many, many different reasons, one of which is because your actual person isn't even going to be your normal type. It's not going to be your normal type. If your person was your type, you wouldn't have had so many fucking relationship problems. So it's going to be the most unexpected person in the world anyways. But you know what they do all say? Every pair of divine life partners I've ever met all say one thing. When we first met, I knew immediately that I could trust them. Immediately. Don't know how I knew. I can't explain it. I just instantly trusted them. Instantly. And I've never felt that before in my life. So maybe shift the perspective on that a little bit. Maybe think outside the box a little bit when it comes to your person and trying to figure out who they are and who they're not and stuff like that. Okay? All right, y'all. I feel like those were the messages that my Taurus family needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, information for personal readings is all down there in the description, okay? I'm out of here now, y'all. I wish you love, luck, light, and prosperity on your journey. Stay blessed.